Armies have definitely seen this moment. Whether at a concert, fan meeting, live, or Q&A session, there's always someone who blurts out, "Let's get married," or "When are you getting married?" And the funny thing is, each BTS member has their own style of answering when the topic of marriage comes up. Some make you laugh immediately, some answer maturely, and some even tease back. What's interesting is that their answers often seem simple, but actually show how they maintain boundaries, respect their fans, and stay true to themselves. Okay, let's see how the BTS members react when asked about marriage.
Jungkook. If you think Jungkook will immediately go into romantic drama mode every time he hears "marry me," it's often the opposite. He's the type who makes us laugh because his answers feel so down to earth. His reaction isn't usually a cold rejection, but rather a shift to a safe and realistic path. His vibe is like, "Wow, that's funny, but we're talking about something big, okay?" In some fan interactions, Jungkook likes to respond in a way that sounds practical, as if reminding fans that marriage isn't just sweet words on a banner. And this is interesting because he does it without embarrassing fans. He can turn potentially awkward moments into lighthearted conversation, sometimes with humor about formal matters or steps before talking about marriage. That's an example of healthy communication. Many people, when asked personal questions, can reflexively become defensive or snappy. Jungkook prefers to deflect while still respecting the person asking. It's similar to when your family asks you, "When are you getting married?" at a gathering. Instead of arguing, you can reply casually, "Pray for me, but focus on that for now." The idol version of Jungkook is like that, except he has to answer in front of a crowd, so being practical but polite becomes an elegant shield. And after the moment passes, the atmosphere usually becomes even more lively because fans laugh together, not get offended.
Taehyung. Taehyung often has a knack for making a single sentence the subject of a fandom's outburst, even though he's speaking casually. When the topic of marriage comes up, his reactions often feel the most flirtatious, but not overly so. He can respond with a dramatic expression, a look that makes fans feel awkward, or a jokey response, as if, "Oh yeah? Are you serious?" Taehyung is adept at playing the atmosphere. He's not making any concrete promises, but he's providing fan service that's still friendly and safe for everyone. This is what makes the "marry me" moment entertaining, not something that creates an overly delusional illusion. It's an example of how public figures maintain a lively interaction without overstepping personal boundaries. Taehyung is like a master improviser on stage. He taps into the audience's energy, turns it back into a joke, and then moves on. Many of us sometimes do something similar in everyday life. For example, when a friend jokes, "Let's just get married," because they're tired of work, you reply, "Okay, but who's paying for the catering?" His jokes connect, but they're still clearly meant to be jokes. Taehyung has that style, but with a stage charisma that makes even small reactions feel big. And often, after teasing a bit, he'll return to normal mode, either with a small smile or continuing with the performance, as if to say, "Okay, enough, next time."
Jimin. When Jimin is asked about marriage, many moments feel like a combination of shy smiles, soft responses, and subtle ways to deflect the situation from becoming too serious. Jimin's typical reactions usually make fans feel appreciated because he doesn't yell, doesn't belittle, but also doesn't make empty promises. In some moments, his answers tend to veer towards things to do before talking about marriage. Not to be patronizing, but to kindly remind them that marriage is a serious matter that involves family, responsibility, and big decisions. What's interesting, Jimin's way of conveying these questions often feels soft, so fans can still smile without feeling like they've been rejected outright. This is similar to a communication skill that's crucial in the real world, especially when we're faced with personal questions. There's an art to refusing without embarrassing. Jimin exemplifies how you can remain warm, polite, and still maintain privacy. Especially in Asian cultures, the topic of marriage is often a topic of endless questions. Jimin's style is like an answer you could use when asked, "When are you getting married?" With a smile, he said, "Pray for me, but I'm focusing on it now." The difference is, Jimin did it in front of thousands of people with cameras, and there was the potential for clips to go viral. So that gentle, safe response wasn't just annoyed, but a strategy to keep everyone comfortable. After Jimin, we move into a more cool-headed mode, a member whose answers often sound like someone who's trying to organize their thoughts before speaking.
RM. RM is often seen as the member who, when asked about big things, doesn't rush to deliver a punchline. He tends to weigh his words, choose a reasonable response, and sometimes brings in broader context, social pressures, people's expectations, and the reality that everyone's life is different. When the topic of marriage comes up, RM usually steers the conversation to a more realistic and mature level, not to kill the mood, but to calm it down. His vibe is like, marriage isn't just about romance. There are many things to think about. He also often feels like he respects his fans, but doesn't allow the conversation to cross personal boundaries. This is important because RM knows what he says can be interpreted in various ways. RM is an example of how to handle big questions with answers that don't provoke drama. In the real world, we often see two types of reactions. Some panic and rush, while others just say yes, yes to get it over with quickly. RM usually chooses the middle ground, answering simply, clearly, and without causing misunderstandings. This also ties into the concept of boundary setting boundaries without hurting others. And because RM has a habit of making people think, his responses sometimes make fans pause and realize, yeah, this isn't a simple topic. But don't worry, after the most adult-like response, we move down to a more reflective but more warm human reaction. The sunshine that can make a serious topic seem lighthearted.
J-Hope. J-Hope is the type whose responses when asked about marriage often feel like a conversation with someone you trust, honest but still maintaining a good vibe. Rather than fabricating romantic answers, he tends to express realistic thoughts. For example, that marriage is a choice, not an obligation, and that one's life focus can vary at different stages. J-Hope's reactions are usually not explosive, but that's precisely why they feel genuine. He's able to convey that his life is very busy, he has many priorities, and that marriage isn't something to be forced into just because of age or social pressure. What makes J-Hope so J-Hope is that, despite his realistic answers, he still carries them with a positive aura. So instead of making the atmosphere gloomy, it's like giving everyone permission to live life at their own pace. This connects to a common conversation in many families and social circles, as if life were a checklist: school, work, marriage, children. In reality, many people choose different orders, or even choose none of the items, and that's still valid. J-Hope demonstrates how to express himself without judging anyone. He also respects the feelings of fans who might be joking around, so he doesn't laugh at his fans, but steers the conversation to a safe place.
Suga. Suga often has a unique communication style. His sentences can be short, his expressions minimal, but his impact is powerful. When asked about marriage, Suga often responds with a joke that sounds serious on the surface, but is actually a punchline. This is the type of humor that makes ARMY laugh later, because they realize, was that a subtle exaggeration? His reactions often feel like he's rejecting the concept of over-the-top delusions without having to scold anyone. For example, he can make a remark that brings the situation back to reality, about a complicated matter, about responsibility, or just a quick comment that neatly closes the topic. And precisely because Suga is known for his honesty, such responses feel authentic, not contrived to please everyone. This is an example of humor as a boundary tool. Many people use humor to say no without embarrassing others. If you have a pushy friend, sometimes the best answer isn't a long debate, but a simple sentence that seals the conversation. Suga is a master at that. But what's worth noting is that he usually keeps his jokes from hurting fans. He doesn't attack personally, doesn't embarrass, and doesn't make the situation toxic. That's crucial, because in a public space, one overly sharp comment can be the subject of misunderstandings. Suga opts for firm but relaxed, and ARMYs usually appreciate that because it feels honest. Now, after Suga's deadpan, we come to the top, the member who often turns marriage questions into impromptu comedy acts.
Jin. When it comes to BTS's reactions to questions about marriage, Jin is often the most memorable because of the way he shuts down the topic while making everyone laugh. Jin has a unique style. He can seem stern but with safe humor, so fans don't feel attacked. When someone says, "Marry me," Jin often responds with a way that sounds like, "Okay, enough," but in Jin's comedic style. Sometimes with a serious expression, sometimes with a quick comment that cuts the line before it runs away. And it's not just for fun. Jin knows exactly how to maintain boundaries while still being entertaining. Jin is the epitome of public speaking under pressure. Imagine you're at work and someone asks you a question that throws you off balance. If you answer too sweetly, people might misunderstand. If you answer too harshly, you'll be called rude. Jin chooses the third path, making everyone laugh, the topic is over, and the atmosphere remains warm. That's a skill not everyone possesses. Plus, because Jin often plays a confident and funny character, fans understand that his responses are part of maintaining the mood, not a personal rejection. He can turn an awkward moment into a memorable one, saying, "Wow, Jin's response is so funny." And ultimately, it's also a form of respect. He values his fans by entertaining them while still maintaining their privacy and personal boundaries. So if you ever feel rejected by Jin's responses in a clip, consider it Jin's safest and honest way of saying, "I love you guys, but let's stay sane together."